Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we're stepping away from the usual lighthearted trivia to tackle something that affects millions of us, yet we often discuss it only in whispers: the powerful and often destructive connection between our money and our minds. In a world filled with uncertainty, the weight of our financial situations can cast a long, dark shadow over every corner of our lives. This isn't just about balancing a checkbook. It's about maintaining our mental and emotional balance. And this isn't a niche problem. It's a widespread challenge, and understanding it is the first step toward reclaiming our peace. So what is financial stress really? It's more than a momentary worry about a big bill. It's a chronic state of anxiety. It's the fear of the rent being due, the dread of an unexpected car repair, the persistent unease about saving enough for the future, or even for next week. The sources are everywhere: soaring living costs, intimidating interest rates, job insecurity, and the curveballs life inevitably throws at us. Recent statistics paint a truly stark picture. A significant percentage of adults, in some studies more than half, report that money has a negative impact on their mental health. For many, this isn't an abstract concept. It's the daily, grinding reality of trying to afford the basics. The most insidious part of this connection is that it's not a one-way street. It's a vicious cycle. Financial stress damages your mental health, and poor mental health makes it harder to manage your finances. It's a downward spiral that can feel impossible to escape. Let's break down one side of that loop first: how financial stress directly impacts your mental well-being. The constant pressure cooker of money worries can trigger a whole cascade of negative responses. The most common are anxiety and depression. Study after study confirms a strong link between financial hardship and heightened symptoms of both. The relentless worry about bills or a sudden loss of income can lead to physical symptoms of anxiety, a pounding heart, shortness of breath, even full-blown panic attacks. And consider this: research shows that people struggling with heavy debt are more than twice as likely to also experience depression. That's a staggering correlation. Then there's sleep, or rather, the lack of it. How many nights have been lost to tossing and turning, replaying financial scenarios in your head? Worrying about money is a leading cause of insomnia, robbing you of the restorative rest your brain and body desperately need. Beyond anxiety and sleepless nights, financial struggles can erode our very sense of self. It can decimate self-esteem and wrap us in a blanket of shame and self-doubt. Society often frames financial instability as a personal failing, a sign that you didn't work hard enough or weren't smart enough. This stigma intensifies those feelings of inadequacy, making it even harder to talk about or seek help. And of course, this stress spills over into our relationships. Money is one of the most common sources of conflict between partners, family, and friends. Financial tension can fuel arguments and breed resentment, straining the very support systems we need most when we're struggling. Now, let's flip the coin. The cycle doesn't just flow in one direction. Poor mental health can seriously cripple your ability to manage your finances effectively. When you're dealing with depression, for example, even simple tasks can feel monumental. That lack of motivation and energy can make budgeting, paying bills on time, or even opening the mail feel like climbing a mountain. Mental health challenges also affect our cognitive functions. They can cloud our judgment and make it difficult to concentrate, leading to poor financial decisions or impulsive spending that we later regret. For some, anxiety triggers an avoidance response. It's easier to simply not look, not open the bills, not check the bank account balance. While this might offer a fleeting moment of relief, it almost always allows the problem to grow larger and more intimidating in the background. And sometimes, the opposite happens. Spending money can provide a temporary mood boost, a quick hit of dopamine in a day filled with gloom. This can lead to a dangerous pattern of retail therapy, where overspending becomes a coping mechanism, which only deepens the financial hole and, in turn, worsens the underlying anxiety and depression. You see the spiral? Financial stress causes anxiety, which leads to avoidance or impulsive spending, which creates more financial stress, which deepens the anxiety. It's a brutal feedback loop. While this cycle can affect anyone, regardless of age or income, some groups are disproportionately impacted. Young adults, for instance, are starting their careers burdened by student loan debt and facing a historic cost of living crisis. It's no surprise that a high percentage of them report that financial uncertainty is a major contributor to feelings of depression. Lower-income households are also on the front lines. They consistently report a greater incidence of psychological distress. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, any unexpected expense can be catastrophic, creating a level of chronic stress that individuals with a financial cushion simply don't experience. And studies also show that women are more likely than men to report that money negatively impacts their mental health, often due to systemic issues like the gender pay gap and a higher likelihood of being single parents. The consequences don't stop at our mental health either. This stress has very real physical repercussions. People under severe financial strain are more likely to suffer from chronic headaches, digestive issues, and high blood pressure. Over the long term, this chronic stress is a known contributor to more serious conditions like heart disease. It also follows us to work. Financial stress is a massive drain on workplace productivity. Employees who are worried about money are more likely to be distracted, to miss days of work, and are more likely to be looking for a new, higher-paying job. The economic cost is enormous, with work-related mental health issues costing national economies tens of billions of dollars every single year. So, after all of that, you might be feeling overwhelmed. But here is the crucial takeaway. Acknowledging this cycle is the first and most powerful step toward breaking it. This isn't about assigning blame, it's about arming yourself with strategies for a healthier financial and mental future. It requires a holistic approach, tackling both sides of the problem at once. Let's start with taking control of your finances. This is about regaining a sense of agency. The first step is to create a budget. It sounds basic, but you cannot control what you don't measure. A simple, honest look at where your money is going is the foundation. It helps you identify areas to cut back and gives you a roadmap. Next, build an emergency fund. This is your financial fire extinguisher. Having a safety net for unexpected expenses can dramatically reduce anxiety. You don't need to save thousands overnight. Start small. Even a few $100s can be the difference between a minor inconvenience and a major crisis. If you have debt, create a realistic plan to pay it down. There are different methods, like the snowball method, where you pay off the smallest debts first for quick motivational wins, or the avalanche method, where you tackle the highest interest debts first to save money in the long run. The best plan is the one you can stick to. And please, don't be afraid to seek professional help. Talking to a nonprofit credit counseling agency or a trusted financial advisor is not a sign of failure, it's a sign of strength. They have the tools and expertise to help you create a workable plan. Simultaneously, you must actively nurture your mental well-being. First, talk about it. The shame and stigma surrounding money problems thrive in silence. Sharing your worries with a trusted friend, a family member, or a mental health professional can provide immense relief and perspective. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. You are not your bank balance. Remind yourself that financial struggles are often the result of systemic issues and bad luck, not a reflection of your character or worth. Avoid negative self-talk. Engage in activities that actively reduce stress. This doesn't have to be complicated. Regular physical activity, even just a daily walk, can work wonders. Mindfulness techniques, meditation, or simple deep breathing exercises can help calm your nervous system when you feel overwhelmed. And finally, set realistic expectations. In our social media-driven world, it's easy to fall into the comparison trap. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate. Focus on creating a life that aligns with your own income and, more importantly, your own values, not someone else's highlight reel. On a broader level, employers and society have a role to play. Companies can offer financial wellness programs and better access to mental health resources. As a society, we need to continue breaking down the stigma around both financial difficulties and mental health, creating an environment where asking for help is seen as the brave and sensible thing to do. The connection between financial stress and mental well-being is complex, personal, and has profound consequences. But it is not an unbreakable chain. By understanding the link, by taking small, practical steps to regain control of both our finances and our mental health, and by fostering a culture of support and compassion, we can untangle this intricate web. We can pave the way for a healthier, more secure future, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. Thank you for tuning in to G Fun Facts Online.